Hi, and welcome to the Ultimate Fat Loss and Fitness Seminar presented today by Breaking Boundaries Personal Training. So if you've tried slimming clubs, fad diets, gym memberships, classes, and even some personal trainers and have still been disappointed with the results, what you're about to learn on this presentation will be a revelation. There's a lot of noise in the fitness industry, there's a lot of noise in the diet industry on what to do to get results. What I hope to do today is to give you something that you can do immediately to start getting the results that you really want. And also, what I'm going to tell you may shock you. For example, how to get better results than everyone else by exercising less and eating more. You don't need to spend hours at the gym, and you don't need to reduce your portions to a child-size amount. Also, how sleeping can affect your weight loss. Why your slimming club isn't working for you. Lots of you have said to me that you've gone to slimming clubs and they've worked to begin with, it's been great, but all of a sudden it's stopped working, and you're not really sure what to do next. Classes like Zumba and Bokwa and classes like that are very popular at the minute. And jogging, you see lots of people out jogging, but can they actually keep you from getting into shape? Or I put actually keep you fat there. And we'll be going into that. And also, we're going to talk about problem areas. So we're going to be talking about things like any fat around your upper arm, your legs, and on the buttock, what's colloquially known as the bingo wings, the wobbly legs and bums, and the stubborn belly fat. We'll talk about what you can do specifically to get rid of that fat, and I'll give you a clue. It's not about doing sit-ups or more bicep curls. So, who am I anyway? As you can see, that's me in the picture. I take myself very seriously. My name's Rich Lucas. I'm a head trainer at Breaking Boundaries Personal Training and Fitness. I also run a boot camp in the city centre, and I work on an online program, online fat loss program called the Fat Loss Renegade Project. I've got 10 years personal training experience and fitness experience. I'm a fat loss specialist, and I specialise in body transformation. So my main thing is getting someone and getting them into unreal shape as quickly as possible. We look to get people on the road to this within 28 days, and then after that we continue to work to continue to get greater results. And just to give you some proof, here's some results. So on the left there, as you look at it, that's Liz. She lost 35 pounds in 12 weeks. And just there is Julie. She lost 4 stone within the first 6 months of training, and she's continued to train, and she's actually a trainer for us now. She's in real shape now. It's brilliant. So I put those pictures up not to brag, just to say that I do know what I'm talking about. And this isn't some made up stuff. I do this over and over again. I help people get some great results in great shape time and time again. So just so you know, going forward, it's not about guesswork. Okay. Right. Okay. So before we go into it, I want to talk to you about a few fitness myths that I particularly heard this month. I'm recording this in January, so that will be the New Year's resolution period. I want to get rid of these fitness myths, so going forward you understand that there is a better way of doing it. Okay, so the first one is you need to exercise for hours on end and I put insert cardio equipment, so that's the stepper, the treadmill, the rower, the bike, to get in shape. And you see this all the time. You see people in the gym getting on the treadmill and they run for 45 minutes an hour and they're sweating and you think they're getting into good shape, but in reality not so much. The thing is, if you can run for an hour or go on a bike for an hour and just constantly going at it, chances are you're not exercising at an intense enough rate. Okay? If I were you, I would first of all not do as much cardio. But when you do cardio, do something called high intensity interval training, or HIIT. And what that involves is going as hard as you can for 30 seconds, and then going easy for 30 seconds, and repeating it, and see how long you can do it for. If you can get over 10-20 minutes, it's very, very unusual. And again, you're probably not working to the degree that you should be. Long, slow cardio, it does have its place, but at the same time, it's very inefficient as a fat burner. You don't burn too much fat on it. What you do is you get achy knees and achy ankles, and you get really sweaty, but you don't get too much results on it longer term. So we'll talk more about HIIT later on, but just as a precursor, it involves going very hard for 30 seconds, then taking it easy for 30 seconds. There's different ways you can do it, but it's all much of a muchness, and it's good to mix it up. Okay, the second one, the weights just sort of gather dust in a lot of ladies' gyms. A lot of ladies say that they don't like lifting weights because they don't want to look like a man. They don't want to you don't want to have big muscles. But the harsh fact is, women do not have, well, in a lot of in most cases, women do not have the testosterone to get the big muscles that men do. In fact, a woman with a high level of testosterone has still got a lower level than a man with a low level of testosterone. The other thing is, not only do women not have the hormones to build muscle as easy as men, the fact of the matter is building muscle is very, very difficult. Okay, you ask any guy who looks to build muscle, they've got to take in a couple of grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. They've got to take shakes. Some of them take testosterone boosters. And you have to lift very, very heavy weights to 8 repetitions to absolute failure. So someone doing a rep on a 2 kilogram weight, sort of 15 reps or what have you, you're not going to put on muscle. But what will happen is, if you lift weights, your muscles will get toned, you will look more defined, and you'll get some great curves going on. So women should definitely lift weights. There's so many benefits, not only benefits to aesthetic benefits, as in you look better, but also for your bone density, for your joint stability, even for your confidence. Weights are a fantastic thing to do for ladies. The second one, my class must be good, and I must be getting results because I sweat lots. If you sweat, all that means is that you're getting hot. It doesn't mean that you're working hard or your heart rate is up. It could mean that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, okay? To make sure that your class is good because you sweat lots, okay, to make sure your class is good, wear a heart rate monitor and make sure that you're in your heart rate zone. So that should be about between 65 and 85% of your maximum. To find out your maximum heart rate, take 220 and detract your age, and that will give you an estimation of your maximum heart rate. You should be working within, between 55, 65 and 85% of your maximum heart rate within that class. Okay, so before you say your class is good, put on that calorie count in heart rate monitor. Okay, last one down. Calorie counting is the best way to lose weight. Just eat as little as possible. Calorie counting is not the best way to lose weight. Firstly, because calorie counting is very difficult to sustain long term. Lots of people can't be bothered to do it. And eating as little as possible is not a good idea for this reason. If you eat as little as possible long term, you can sustain hormonal damage, which will stop you losing weight, okay? I've talked before in other presentations about leptin secretion. Leptin is a hormone secreted by the white fat cells in your body, and it's the fuel gauge for your body, so your brain can tell when you're full. If you don't eat very much, you completely mess leptin up, and your body will not know when it's full. Okay, this is why bodybuilders who have to eat quite a lot as part of their trade, because they're eating quite a lot, they mess up their leptin levels, and they end up eating even after they stop exercising long term, and that's why you'll see a lot of older bodybuilders look quite plump. So there are a few fitness myths. There are a lot more, but I'm just going to do 4 today that need to be debunked before we even go straight on. So keep your cardio short and very, very hard. Lift weights by all means. Your class, if your class to be good, make sure you wear your heart rate monitor and make sure that it's good. And calorie counting is the start of losing weight, but it is not the only way. There's a lot more to look at, which we're going to look at in this presentation. And make sure you're eating your calories each day. So, favourite. Before I even start this, I just want to say I'm not a Zumba hater. I've been called a Zumba hater God knows how many times because I make fun of it, but I'm not a Zumba hater. I think whatever works, whatever gets people mobile, it's great. But I want to talk about why Zumba and jogging can keep you fat or keep you from losing weight. The first thing is there's no progression or overload. You go jogging, you do the same 3-mile circuit with your friends each week. And it's great. You feel like you're doing something, that you're losing weight, and it's great for social. The problem is there's no progression and there's no overload in jogging or Zumba. Okay, I think in Zumba, as you can see in the picture there, you've got how we feel and how we really look. I think the instructor probably burns 700 calories. I don't think a lot of the participants do. I think they sort of move around a little bit and they laugh and they have a good time, but I don't think they're really progressing their fitness. They push themselves to the limit every week, and that's what you need to do to get into shape. You have to push yourself to the limit, and I don't think Zumba or jogging does that for you eventually once you get into the routine. Also, you only burn calories as you are doing the exercise. There's no what we call EPOC, or excess post-oxygen consumption. When you jog for 30 minutes, you burn calories for those 30 minutes. When you do Zumba, sort of moving around for those 45, 60-minute classes, you'll burn calories for that time. When you do high intensity interval training, you sprint hard for 30 seconds then rest off for 30 seconds, or when you lift weights for sort of 8 to 10 reps, as heavy as you can go, you will not only you'll burn less calories in that session, but you will burn calories for up to 38 hours after by doing weight training and interval training. Just a thought, okay? So Zumba and jogging, that doesn't happen. And when you do weights and interval training, that happens, okay? I mean, again, I'm not making this up. This is what I know from working with my clients. Another thing with Zumba and jogging is there's no resistance training, only cardio, unless you drop and do 10 press-ups in your jogs, or you do a couple of burpees in Zumba or squats. There's very little resistance training, just cardiovascular exercise. And while that's great, it only looks after one facet of fitness. And by all means do Zumba, go jogging, but you need to be doing your weights, and you need to be doing your interval training on top of that if you're looking to lose fat and get fit and really get the results. The other thing with Zumba and to a point jogging is it's social rather than results focused. You'll meet your friends at Zumba, you'll jog with your friends when you go out, but the thing is that's great. But if one of you wants to take it easy, chances are more than likely all of you are going to want to take it easy. And again, Zumba is all about having fun, and that's great. But if you're looking to get results, it has to be uncomfortable. You have to push past that barrier of having fun and having a good time to get the results. And I'm not saying don't do it. All I'm saying is if you want to get results, you might need to think about doing some other things as well. So there's a couple of reasons on why Zumba and jogging can keep you fat, and maybe how you can avoid it. The way you can avoid it is by all means do it, but you need to be doing other things if you want to get the results. Okay, the next thing we're going to come on to is sleep. I mean, I look at fitness as a triangle. You've got 3 sides to it. You've got training, you've got nutrition, and you've got rest. And if one of those sides is out of balance, the triangle falls down. Okay, so if you're training flat out and you're eating really well, but you're not sleeping well, you're not going to have the energy to train. You're going to be demotivated, and you're not going to want to eat right, and it all falls apart. If you're eating really well and you're sleeping really well, but you're not got the training in, you're not going to get the results. Because you're not burning the calories that required. So if we let one of those sides of those triangles down, the whole thing falls apart. So I'm going to go a little bit into the science of it, not too much. This is why sleep is so important for fat loss. A good night's sleep means that your body produces enough of the hormone leptin. We spoke about leptin before. It's secreted by the white fat cells. It regulates your appetite. So if you sleep well, your leptin levels sort of even off, and you won't get cravings the next day. If you've had a good night's sleep, you wake up the next morning, you feel on it, you feel good. The other side of it is a bad night's sleep is your body could secrete more of the stress hormone, which is cortisol, which can actually encourage storage of belly fat. And we'll talk more about cortisol later. It's a real thing to consider. It's good because the stress hormone's good, but at the same time, if too much cortisol gets secreted, and this can happen through alcohol, sugar, stressful environment, not sleeping enough, as we're talking about here, it actually increases storage of fat on the stomach area, on the abdomen area. So reducing stress is a really important aspect in losing weight and getting the results, particularly getting rid of the fat around the abdomen. So sleep is very, very important for fat loss. You should be looking to get between 7 and 9 hours a night. It's not always possible. I've got a 1-year-old son, so I totally understand that sleep isn't always possible to get the best of. But if you're looking to get results, if you're looking to lose fat, if you're looking to strip the fat away, particularly from the midsection, sleep and avoiding stress is very, very important. Okay, so we're coming on to the meat on the bones now. We're going to talk about how to lose your bingo wings to start with, or fat on the upper arms. A real biggie between female clients. They always say to me, "Rich, how do I lose? I want to lose this. I want to lose that. I only want to lose weight around here and all that." Now, while you can't, it's widely thought you can't spot reduce. I mean, when you lose fat from all over. What we're going to look at is some ways that you can potentially lose excess fat on the upper arm. Okay, now excess fat on the upper arm, it can indicate an androgen imbalance. Now androgen is masculine hormones or testosterone. Okay, so there's a couple of ways to counteract it. It's very simple, and to be honest, I'm not diagnosing you here that you've got an androgen imbalance. But if you follow these eating rules, they're only good healthy eating rules anyway, so you won't get any badness from it. So to counteract an androgen imbalance, what you do is you eat less meat and more dairy. Okay, meat these days are pumped full of hormones. You want to avoid meat as much as possible. Same with dairy. Avoid dairy as much as possible. Eat more plant-based foods. So more vegetables, particularly cruciferous vegetables, things like kale, spinach, cauliflower, and things like that. And eat foods such as tofu, soybeans, and flaxseed. Okay, flaxseed is brilliant at making you lose weight anyway. Very good at mobilizing fatty acids. And soybeans have got phytoestrogens in it, so is tofu, which can readdress the hormones a little bit more. Okay, now exercises to lose the bingo wings. You're going to be wanting to be looking at compound exercises like bench pressing, overhead tricep extension, things like that. But the first thing you need to do is working on that diet. Okay, get the diet right. The first thing that happens is diet. I mean, good results come from about 60-70% diet and 30-40% exercise. Okay, diet is the first thing that you want to get right. Okay, so the first thing you need to do to get rid of bingo wings is eat less meat, go a bit more vegetarian, a little bit more away from the animal based side of things. Eat more plant foods and try to include things like tofu, soybeans, and flaxseed in your diet. Okay. So another problem area is how to lose fat around your hips and bum. So again, another problem area for ladies. Something that they always say to me is well, I want to lose weight around this area. So what it can indicate is an estrogen imbalance. So androgen or testosterone is the male hormone. Estrogen is the female hormone. Again, I am not diagnosing here. I'm just saying what it could be. So what we want to eat more of for an androgen estrogen imbalance is foods such as soy. Soy is really good. Cruciferous vegetables. Again, that's stuff like you want to be eating things like cauliflower, kale, spinach. Yep. You want to be increasing your fiber intake and also the vitamin B6. Now you can supplement B6 or you can get B6 fine from chicken, turkey, salmon, and spinach. And for all your meat, try to go organic, grass-fed market kind of meat. Okay, keep the meat hormone free, and again avoid dairy. To be honest, that's a cover-all. Keeping meat hormone free is always a good idea. And dairy, so I've had clients who've given up dairy for a week and have lost 7 pounds and things like that. So it's always good to get rid of things like that. So there are a few things now to sort of work the muscles around this area. You would be looking at things like deep squatting, very deep squatting, lunging, hamstring curls, hip bridges. But again, the first thing you need to do is get that diet right. Okay, let's talk about belly fat. Now, increased belly fat is very bad. It's particularly bad in men, but it's bad all over. I mean, increased belly waist circumference means that you're more susceptible to things like cancers, diabetes. So it's very important to get that down as soon as possible. Now, increased belly fat can be linked to excess cortisol secretion. So we've covered a couple of, but this is 4 hormones we've gone into. Leptin is the hormone that tells you your brain when it's full. Androgen is the masculine hormone. Estrogen is the feminine hormone, and cortisol is the stress hormone. So sorry, I'm trying not to be overly scientific. So basically, when you get stressed out, when you eat too much sugar, when you drink too much caffeine, your body secretes excess cortisol. Now, it's fine if you do something with it. It goes back to caveman days where the stress hormone would be there, so we could go out to get food. We don't need to do that anymore because we just need to go to the shop or order it over the phone. So to lower cortisol secretion, this is a long-term strategy, but you need to consume less sugar. If you can, cut sugar out completely. You consume less caffeine and consume less alcohol. Okay, they all play havoc with your cortisol levels. The other thing is get more sleep, and we've talked about it before. You need to be getting to bed early, but before 10:30 if I were you. Get up nice and early. You'll feel great the next day. You won't have the cravings and you won't have the cortisol secretion messing up and holding the fat on the stomach area. And the other thing is avoid stress. At the end of the day, if it's out of your control, Do not worry about it. There's nothing you can do about things that are out of your control. And it's really important that you do avoid stress and do things like, taking a bath instead of a shower, take a walk at lunchtime, get some fresh air. It's really, really important to do that. And, this it's all related to getting the results as in losing fat. So do pay attention to not just what you're eating, but the minute details. And this is what I'm hoping that I'm getting across to you in here. It's not just about the food that you're eating or the calories you're eating. It's also the hormone-laden meat and the dairy that you're eating, or the vegetables that you're not eating, and the flaxseed that you're not supplementing with, and so on and so forth. So to get rid of belly fat, you need to consume less sugar, caffeine, and alcohol, get more sleep, and avoid that stress. Okay, so let's talk about the gym now and what you can do to get better exercise, better results than everyone else from exercising. So you see the guys, typical workout I see people doing in there is they go on the bike for 5 minutes, they go on the treadmill for 20 minutes, they go on the rower for 5 minutes, they go on the cross trainer for 10 minutes, then they go on the hip adduction thing or whatever it's called, and then they might do some bicep curls and some sit-ups. If a personal trainer gave you that program or something similar to that, give him a slap and demand your money back, because that is not going to get results for you. Okay, this is what you're going to be doing to get more results than anyone else exercising. The first thing you got to do is lift weights. Okay, and I'm not talking weight machines. Weight machines create muscle imbalances. They only work the muscle that you're pushing at that time, doesn't work any of the surrounding muscles, and they're rubbish for burning fat. So we're lifting free weights. Okay, free weights such as compound exercises, not isolation. Now, a compound exercise is a multi-joint exercise. It's where you will use lots of different muscles in one lift. Now, the sort of lifts that you're going to be doing is bench pressing, upright rowing, deadlifting, bent over rowing, pull-ups, press-ups, squatting. These are all exercises that put a lot of strain on a lot of different big sorts of muscles. The big muscles use oxygen, more blood gets pumped, more calories get burned by doing it, and you also work tons of different muscles in one shot. You're going to do between 8 and 12 repetitions, okay? So forget doing 15 reps and spending all day lifting a weight. We're going to lift a weight that is heavy enough that when you get to 8 or 10 repetitions, you can't do any more, okay? So it's really, really important, because what this does is it invokes something called hypertrophy, which is where the muscle fibers get broken down and you start to grow back some lean and defined muscles, which lots of people want. You also want to work through an exercise circuit of 4 to 6 exercises. So what you might want to do is you might want to go, right, I'm going to do bench press for 10 reps. I'm going to do pull-ups for 10 reps. I'm going to do squats for 10 reps. I'm going to do deadlifts for 10 reps. And maybe I'll finish with some burpees just for fun for 10 reps. Okay? Do that as fast as you can with as little rest as possible. We're looking at 20 to 30 seconds rest between rounds. It's tough, but it really, really works. And rather than doing 45 to 60 minutes of cardio, do 20 minutes of interval training. My favourite one is walk, jog, run, sprint, where you get on the treadmill, you walk for a minute, you run for a minute, you sprint for a minute, and then you go back to what you were doing before. It's great. Also, by the end of 20 minutes, you're begging for the end of it. It's really, really good way to do. So basically, what your workout's going to be is you come to the gym, you do weight training for 45 minutes, and you do interval training for 20 minutes, or you can do them on different days. So you're not spending all day in the gym. All you're doing is spending either 45 minutes in the gym or 20 minutes in the gym. Very time efficient for you, very effective fat burner. Who needs it? You can get all the results you want in 4 hours a week. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how to eat more and lose weight. There's no reason why you can't eat tons of food and still lose weight. You need to be aware of calories. I've always been, that's the first step that we say, is make sure that you're eating the calories that you need to be eating to lose weight. But what you need to do is stick to single ingredient natural foods. That means not getting a pizza, that means not getting wine, that means just going out and eating single ingredient foods. So let's take a single ingredient food. Chicken, broccoli, green beans, rice, potato. They're all single ingredient foods. Okay, a McDonald's burger, you don't know what's in it. Chips, you don't know what's in it. You don't know what it's being cooked in. So if every component of your meal, your protein, carbohydrate, and fat meal, is single ingredient, you can eat pretty much what you want of it. I mean, and if you try and track it on MyFitnessPal or whatever calorie counter you use, you're usually going to find that you're going to be totally fine. So just stick to single ingredient natural foods. That's the best bit of diet advice I could ever give you. There's lots of other ones, but that's the best one I could give you. The next one is drink plenty of water, and we are talking 3 litres a day. Just smash it down, get lots of water down you. Now, what I've also done, if you haven't done it already, I've put below a link to the Fat Loss Renegade 14-day diet below. It talks a little bit about carbohydrate cycling and a couple of different techniques that we use to get really good results. That's just below this presentation on a link. So you can if you haven't got it already, link and you can download the PDF. And you'll find lots of strategies in there that will make you lose lots of weight. There are more things we go into. I mean, on the Fat Loss Renegade project, where I take people through it for 28 days, we look at forms of intermittent fasting. We go deeper into the sleep side of things and the exercise as well. Okay, so how to really get results. I mean, I've spoken to you in this presentation some of my best tips on how to get the best fat loss results that you've ever got before. But if you want to take it a little bit further, I've made you some offers below, and it's going to be exclusive to the people watching this video. So if you're serious about getting the fitness and fat loss results that you've always wanted, your opportunity is below. So it doesn't matter whether you want to work one-on-one with us, if you want to work in one of our boot camps, or whether you want to, if you're far away, if you're watching this in Australia, you can still work with us because we've got an online program. So I've included some links down there. They're my top programs, and it's giving you some of my best offers to get you to take action and get you on the road to getting the body that you deserve in 28 days. So it's basically, it's all there for you. I mean, I've gone through what I can in this presentation. If you'd like to go further, please take a look at the links below, and you've got the opportunity to get the body that you want within 28 days. So you can either have an awesome result or another excuse. It is totally up to you. Whatever you decide, best wishes to you. This is Rich Lucas and Julie and the Breaking Boundaries team. Take care, and we look forward to hearing your success stories.